So Gaffer, sat here ahead of Chesterfield visiting Meadow Park on Tuesday evening. But first, let's touch on Stockport County on Saturday afternoon. We spoke prior to the Stockport game, and we were looking for a reaction after Torquay and what was a tough week with a draw against Dover and a defeat against Millwall prior to that. And it seemed like it was a very positive performance. Are you pleased with the reaction?
Yeah, listen, we had the luxury of having Gus Mufata back. Christian Pearce, in terms of the new signing, obviously wasn't available in the trophy game. I felt, just looking at the bench with the likes of Tom Champion, Corey Whiteley, Matt Reed, Shaquille Coulthurst, Ryan Huddup, Pierre Mongoria in the stands, showed you the level of play we had on the pitch. And I'm not making excuses in any way, shape or form, but I honestly believe that the personnel we had available to us on Saturday was our strongest in recent weeks. Having your skipper back, having him back to a level where I don't even feel that he's probably hitting 80% of his game time in terms of what he was playing like prior to his injury, but to have him in the building, to have him leading your group is massive. And I felt the performance on Saturday was very productive. I watched it back yesterday. We spoke about it today with regards to the positives and the bits that we could work on. And yeah, listen, I thought it was a great reaction. I think we probably edged it, even though I had the opportunities. You'd say Reed could have two opportunities, but we could temper that with Shaq's and Junior Marais' one. So yeah, I think we have to be positive in terms of travelling up to Stockport, early season favourites, and coming away with a positive result.
So we've spoken a lot about our defensive form and how good we've been in that department. Other than a little bit of magic from John Rooney, where he puts the ball in a top corner from an acute angle, it seems like we're solid at the back, and Christian fit in almost seamlessly. How happy are you with that performance?
As a whole, I think the two little ones up top in Cabs and Junior aid them because they press with an intent. They get defenders rushing clearances as opposed to dropping balls into areas which then affect the back line. I thought the midfield three picked up seconds, thirds and fourths. On Saturday, I thought they were very productive. The wing backs occupied either side, and like I said, I think it's a group effort, and I don't put it down to Ash, the back five, the deep line midfielder, the defensive qualities. I put it down to a whole group. I think we press with intent, we defend across the board, but touching on the block from Jamal, the block from Femi, the block first half from Kane Smith, and then Christian Pearce, like you said, quite seamlessly puts a performance in that I believe will only get better. He's not played now, I believe, in 3 to 4 weeks. That was his first game. Spoke to him again today for a second day recovery and prep for Chesterfield, and he'll get to identify what Jamal's strengths are, Femi's strengths are, Kane Smith's strengths are, and he'll add to what we've already got in the building, because the likes of Tom Champ and Dave Stevens currently waiting in the wings for an opportunity, and that's where we need to be as a group of players, to have that competition to ensure there's level of performances week in, week out.
So you touched on it there, the pressing from the front, and I'm sure that you emphasise it on the training pitch and out on the pitch as well, is that you want your defensive unit to start from the front, and they were harrying the defenders and making them clear their lines and getting blocks on, etc. But in possession, it seemed that they really worked well together. It was their fourth game together as a whole, but second as a frontline partnership. How impressed were you with their interplay?
I spoke to Junior yesterday. I saw snippets in the Dover game, that first 15-20 minutes of how productive them two could be, and I felt that we saw large periods of the game on Saturday, the little link play. Again, Junior will get to grips with how Cabs plays, Cabs will get to grips with how Junior plays. Cabs is a finisher. He is relentless, he shoots from all angles, so I've already addressed where Junior needs to come in from, where we will be getting tap-ins at the back post. So yeah, they go strength to strength in terms of where their relationships are. They work before work, they're in double early prior to training, working at their craft. So I'm excited with the pair of them. They're willing, they've got great endeavour, they've got great movement, they're powerful, and they can cause teams problems. And yeah, we also have Matt Reed in the building, we have Shaquille Coulthurst in the building, all strikers that offer something different, and it's not just going to be one way for the foreseeable, because Saturday, Tuesday inevitably is going to be shuffling the pack at times.
So focus now turns to Chesterfield, and they have a somewhat new manager in James Rowe. They were, prior to him coming into the building, were looking over their shoulders at the relegation places. Since he's come in, it looks like he's had an instant impact, and performances and results have picked up dramatically. He's brought in a lot of bodies, just to name a few. Carline from Gloucester, Whelan from Weymouth, Denanga from Stevenage, Jack McCork, Gavin Gunning recently from Gloucester, and the one that shouts out and screams to all people is Santi, who's been in devastating form since arriving at Chesterfield. You're playing against a different outfit than what you may have been 3 months ago.
100%, but a club of that size shouldn't be looking over their shoulder. I think no one's given the God-given right. You see that in York City when they come down and then plummet into the National North. National League's relentless, and he's a very good manager. You can see the way he plays. He has patterns and an identity that he wants to get out in that personnel. He shuffled the pack like you say. He's brought in 2 goalkeepers back in the last week. McCourt, good player, holds that little defensive midfield role like a little quarterback, organises very well. Carline, I know him from his Solihull days. So, yeah, they got personnel in there that are probably more the Chesterfield mould than the previous manager. They play a certain way. There's a confidence to them. There's a swagger to them. And like you said, Asante is, other than our boy, the striker in form. Cabs is the in-form striker currently with a return of goals in the last 6 to 7 games. But Asante, yeah, he's a threat. He goes and gets all types of goals. I see the game against Wrexham on Saturday, scores his initial one from a mistake from the right sider and then goes and slots it late on. So for me, yeah, tough test, real tough test. Like any game at this level, you look at Weymouth go and beat Hartlepool on Saturday and Hartlepool are flying, yet Weymouth go and do them 1-0. So no ties easy. Every single game offer its threats and we need to ensure that we're right on it. I believe our league form currently is really good, 14 points from a possible 18 last 6 games. It's something that we've honed in on and we want to continue. We've looked at different personnel on Saturday and it worked for us. Will that be the same come Tuesday evening? Difference in terms of opposition, same shape as a Stockport, same kind of identity, can play 2 ways, but we need to ensure that we have the right personnel on the pitch in the right places, and that's something that myself and the management team need to identify. But yeah, we face a good side on Tuesday evening, a side that are on form. You put our league forms together, I think we slightly pip them, but in terms of Chesterfield, they should be where they're at now, if not higher up the table. I watched the game against Wrexham and I'm seeing a 14,000 seater stadium. They're a big club, big club with good personnel now at the helm in terms of James and good personnel in terms of the players that they've brought in, and you can see that their identity has given them an outside chance for playoffs.
You touched on it there, and looking at the form guide over the last 6 games, we have 14 points, 4 wins, 2 draws. They have 13 points, 4 wins, a draw and a loss. The 2 most informed sides in the National League at present. You couple that with 2 strikers who are firing on all cylinders, and that's Kabi Shamenga for ourselves and Asante for Chesterfield. When you put all that into the melting pot, it's going to be the fans can expect an open attacking game on Tuesday evening, but things don't always turn out like that.
It's 0-0 written all over it. What an advert for the National League. I've got to be honest, I spoke to the chairman on the way home on Saturday. Against Stockport, we ain't had many of them days where 2 sides, proper good sides, have a go. I remember us against Ian Everts Barrow here last year prior to the turn of Christmas, and I felt that was the same on Saturday. I'm envisaging the exact same on Tuesday evening against Chesterfield. 13 points from 18 is an unbelievable return. They lost against Solihull late on. They'd be aggrieved that they've got counted on a corner 4, and probably the keeper that's no longer with them should make the save, and Asante is probably a fag paper away from wrapping it in the top bin, making it 2-0. So they're the fine lines. James been about long enough. This isn't his first rodeo. He's been an assistant manager at Aldershot, knows what it tastes like to be in the playoffs, knows what it tastes like to be in a relegation battle. He's now got his teeth into a big job at Chesterfield. It's an unbelievable job for him. I think that's been married up with his performances and their results, and they're getting the fruits of his labour. His recruitment's been good. That isn't luck. That's saying that he had at Gloucester. You see them topping the table at Gloucester, playing an expansive game of football. He's now taken that to Chesterfield. But no disrespect to James of Chesterfield, don't care. It's about what we do. It's about how we go about our business. I touched on them today in 4 inches of snow, went through how we're going to hurt them, where we can exploit them, where we believe we're strong. And that's something that the players are buying into at the minute. Because for me, I can't affect the personnel he picks. I can't affect what they do in terms of their shape and organisation. When it's played out and we worked on bits that they're playing out, their playthroughs, their expansive shape in midfield, where we can hurt them is where I get my teeth into it, and I enjoy that side. They have certain ways on long throws, they have their set pieces, whether it's corners and they all plot up outside the D of the corner. There's loads of little bits that we've worked on and we've tweaked slightly, shape, personnel to ensure that we believe we can go and get 3 points tomorrow evening.